much. Senator Begich.
Madam Chair, thank you very much. I have a couple, I'm not sure which is the right person to answer, so I'll just ask it, then maybe, Mr. Corey, you could direct it to who you think would be appropriate. You had in your in your testimony, there's a chart in the back. I think it's like says each bill, or I'm not sure if it's connected directly to your testimony, but it talks about each bill you support or that are supported and not supported. There's one that's not supported, which is 1314, which would establish minimum funding levels for disabled veterans outreach program specialists and local veterans employment representatives per 5,000 square miles. Basically, it's a rural effort to ensure there's a minimum funding for rural communities and states. Senator Tester has introduced the bill. We think it's an important bill, obviously from Alaska's perspective, but maybe could you expand on why your agency is not supportive of that bill? It's one of the only few bills, I think there's only 2 or 3 that you guys didn't support, and this was one of them.
I believe I'll go back and check, sir, but I believe we deferred to DOL that particular piece of legislation for them. I don't believe that we...
okay, let me ask it this way then, because you
we
opened
took a
up
stance.
No, I understand. Are you familiar enough with the legislation to comment from how it would affect veterans in a positive or negative way?
At this point, no, sir, I'm not.
Okay. Then let me go to my next question, and that is, I was in a Government Services Committee meeting, Homeland Security Government Services Committee meeting not long ago, and General GAO did a report on how many different programs we have available for veterans for employment and training, spread across a pile of agencies, Department of Labor being one of them. And for you not to be able to respond to this makes me a little nervous, and it actually goes to my issue, which I brought up there is, and you may not want to comment on this, but I'm going to put it on the table and see what happens here. Why don't we just consolidate all those department or those labor and training programs for veterans and just put them under veterans programs? So when a veteran comes in, because they're not, most veterans are not searching all over the place trying to figure out where they can get job training. They call the VA, and then the VA parcels them out to somebody or directs them. Why not just have that right inside the VA? And I know Department of Labor will call my staff within seconds as I'm saying this, explain why that's such a bad idea. But at the end of the day, our service and our responsibility is to ensure that veterans get easy access without the bureaucracy that goes along with it. And I was shocked how many different programs there are spread across multiple agencies, and then we expect a veteran returning home to weave through the federal bureaucracy and figure that out. We had to have a GAO report to do it for us. Give me your thoughts on that. And you know, I'm probably putting you on the spot, and that's okay.
Yes, sir, you are putting me on the spot.
Well, I'm glad I got that acknowledged.
I testified a number of months ago on H.R. 4072, I believe it is, which is to move the DOL VETS
right
into VA. And at that point, my testimony essentially indicated that the administration is looking at that. There is numerous issues that we have all looked at. We would all want to ensure that we provide a good service to our veterans. And so at this point, we're looking at that piece of legislation. We're looking at putting together a position on that. But at this juncture, I don't have an opinion, yay or nay, sir.
Okay. Do you think, if I can just probe a couple more here, I'm sure you're not anxious for me to do this, but do you have a timetable that you think you might be able to, and I guess here's my worry, I'm just giving you my experience as a former mayor. Whenever I wanted to talk about consolidation or moving things, each department would kind of start getting hunkered down, and at the end of the day, sometimes they weren't as forthright as needed in what's the end result here, because they were worried about employees and who they'd get to keep and all that stuff. First timetable that you think you might be able to, and second, as you think about that answer, is do you feel you're going to have the latitude to put out to this committee and or whoever would be appropriate to say, here is the right thing at the end of the day for veterans? Not Department of Labor, not the bureaucracy, but for veterans.
Senator, thank you for your question. We have not established a definitive timetable in coming up with all of those answers. We'll be happy to get back to you with that response.
That's fair. Thank you very much. Do you think you'll have the latitude when you roll through this discussion process that, and again, this may be an unfair question, but to be caught into that kind of agency tug-of-war that may occur, and that you'll be able to focus on, is this the right decision for a veteran? And it may mean contrary to some folks within the administration of what you're trying to do. Do you feel comfortable enough that you have that? I know these are uncomfortable questions, but what the heck, you're here, so.
Yes, sir, I am uncomfortable.
If you want to think about that one, I might let you off the hook here.
The short answer, sir, is that I know that my entire chain of command believes in one thing and one thing only, and that is what's best for the veteran. And I don't think anyone in the VA would take steps that would be contrary to that.
Perfect. I'll leave it at that. Thank you, Madam Chair.